Hello folks, this is video number one that you're going to have to watch on your own. I've got everything working. I've already got pre-calcs posted, geometries posted. Yours is the last one. We're in good shape. It's 6:40 a.m. and I am happy, feeling good. Okay. What we're doing today, we're rewriting formulas and equations. Okay, we'll explain what that is. We're going to go through basic formulas you should already know by now. We'll just kind of review them. Solve for different variables. That's basically what we're doing with rewriting. We're not changing the value of the equation. We're just making it look different. Work some examples and then talk about substituting some values once you've done that. Okay. So let's go ahead and take a look. You'll need your book for this one. Go to page 26. 26, all those formulas found there. Distance. Distance equals rate times time. Okay, temperature converting from Fahrenheit to Celsius or Celsius to Fahrenheit. F equals 9/5 times the Celsius measurement plus 32. Okay, area of a triangle, should know this one. 1/2 base times height. Again, this is a triangle. Area of a rectangle is they have length times width. We could go base times height. That'd be fine too. Okay. Perimeter of a rectangle. The perimeter of a rectangle, that is 2 base plus 2 heights, right? Because I got to add up the base twice and the height twice to get my distance all the way around the perimeter. Area of a trapezoid from geometry. Trapezoid. Remember, we average the bases. So I'm going to do a little different here than the book has it. We average the bases and then multiply that by the height. That's how we did it in geometry. Okay. Area of a circle. Area of a circle is pi r squared. And the circumference of a circle is 2 pi r, or the diameter times pi. R is the radius. R is the radius, okay? These are formulas your book throws at you. These are formulas you should already know, have a pretty decent grasp on, okay, either from science or from math class. We're going to be using these today to rewrite formulas. So we'll be jumping back and forth here. Okay? Solve for a given variable. Okay, let's go easy. Let's use that distance formula. Distance equals rate times time. Okay? Let's say it tells you that you want to know the rate based on time and distance. So what they want you to do is to solve for r, because they want you to find the rate. Well, here's what's happening. All these equations and stuff, there's no number in this equation. But does anything change in how we solve it? If I want to get r by itself, don't I have r times t? So if I want to get r by itself, I need to divide by t, because that'll make t over t, that'll be 1. Okay? Well, we're doing the same thing here. Again, this is why we went through all those properties, so everybody understands what you're doing. It doesn't always have to be numbers. And in fact, as we get into Algebra 2, you'll find that numbers go away increasingly. We deal a lot more with letters, a lot more with variables, because we can do a lot more with them, because they can constantly change. Okay? So if I divide one side by t, I've got to divide the other side by t. Well, t over t is 1. So I end up with r equals distance divided by time. I just solved for r. Now I could do the same thing. We could be real simple. I could do the same thing and solve for t by just dividing both sides by r. So now time equals distance divided by the rate. Okay? Not a big deal. Let's go through some of the examples in your book here. Example 1. They have circumference equals 2 pi r, and they say solve for r. Well, everything in here is multiplication, right? So let's take care of everything all at once. I need to divide by 2 because that'll be 1. And I need to divide by pi because that'll be 1. Well, if I do it on one side, I've got to do it on the other side. I'm left with r by itself, and that's going to equal circumference divided by 2 pi. Okay? We're just solving. Now, the second part of that question, it says, if the circumference is 44, what's the radius? Well, now that I've got it solved, I just plug in 44. They're telling us that the circumference is 44, so I'm going to plug 44 in for C and divide things out. So R equals 22 divided by pi when I simplify. Okay? Not too shabby. Hopefully it's simple enough. Okay. Example 2 is a little different. They use the perimeter. So perimeter equals, and we'll use what they use. They use 2L plus 2W, and they say solve for W. Solve for W. Well, we're just doing algebra. Okay? All we're doing is algebra. We've just got more variables than we've had in the past. Okay? The first thing I'd do, if I were solving that for W, is I'd try to get W by itself on one side. So the first thing is subtract the 2L from both sides. That's the first thing I'd do. So now I have P minus 2L, and 2L minus 2L is 0, equals 2W. Now the last thing I do is divide both sides by W. Well, this won't be the last thing, because that'll be 1. So I end up with, let's do this, W equals P minus 2L over 2. Now I'm not quite done. I can put my denominator with both pieces of the numerator. So I can say W equals P over 2 minus 2L over 2. Well, 2 over 2 right here is 1. So my answer is W equals P over 2 minus L. Hey, that works out. Now it says, we're not done, it says find the width. So we solve for W. Find the width with length of 12 and perimeter of 41. So it's telling me that the length is 12, the perimeter is 41. Well, plug in what you know. W equals, my P is 41 over 2 minus 12. Well, I've got a fraction here, rational number, so I'm going to have to find a common denominator. W equals 41 over 2 minus 24 over 2. 41 minus 24 is 15. So W equals 15 over 2. And I'm done. Okay? Not bad. Not bad. Now, these, hold on, I need to make a new page. Oh, no, we're fine. Substitution. Let's look at example 3. Let's look at example 3. So it has 9x minus 4y equals 7. They say solve for y. Oops. Solve for y. And then, when you're done, after you've done that, find y when x equals negative 5. Now, I have some students every year that see, oh man, just plug in negative 5, we're done. No, the first thing it wants you to do is solve for y. That's a huge part of why we're doing this section. So the first thing I got to do is the algebra to solve for y, and then when I'm done, I'll plug in for x. Okay, so solving this for y, first thing I do, subtract 9x from both sides, because positive 9x minus 9x is 0. So I've got negative 4y equals 7 minus 9x. Okay? Well, the next step, last thing I gotta do, get y by itself, divide by negative 4. Divide by negative 4. Negative 4 over negative 4 is 1. So y equals 7 minus 9x over negative 4. And let's put each piece of the numerator over the denominator. So y equals negative 7 over 4. I just moved my negative up. It doesn't matter where it's at. Plus, because a negative and a negative make a positive, 9x over 4. Okay? Now that I have that, now I can plug in 5 for x. Because I have my answer here. Oops, now I can plug in 5 for x. So y equals negative 7/4 plus 9 times negative 5. I believe it was negative, right? Yeah. Over 4. So y equals negative 7 over 4 minus 45 over 4. Negative 7 minus 45 is negative 52. So y equals negative 52/4, which that'll reduce to 26, negative 26 over 2, or negative 13. Y equals negative 13 when I divide that out. Okay? That was example 3. Okay, let's take a look at example 4. This will be the last one we do here. We'll work some more of these in class, but let's look at example 4. 2y plus xy equals 6, and they say solve for y. Oh boy. Now remember that factor step that you guys hated me for making you do? It's going to come in handy here. What's my problem with solving for y? I've got one here and one here. I can't solve for two different y's. I can only solve for one y. Okay, so what am I going to have to do? Well, I'm going to have to factor a y out of both of those. Just like we did when we were solving these, when I had like 2x plus 3x, and I made you factor out an x. So you had something like this, so it was x plus 5. Or x, not x plus 5, x times 5. That's going to come in real handy right here, because now I'm going to have to factor out a y, and I'm left with 2 plus x, right? Distributive property backwards equals 6. Okay? Well, now I've got multiplication. I've got y times 2 plus x. So what do I need to get rid of? I need to get rid of the 2 plus x, because anything over itself is 1. So if I do it on one side, I've got to do it on the other side. If we clean this up, we end up with y equals 6 over 2 plus x. Okay, and again, there's a second part here. They say once you get done, x equals negative 3. Go ahead and plug that in. Okay? Well, let's go ahead and plug that in. Y equals 6 over 2 plus negative 3. Okay? Y equals 6 over negative 1, so y equals negative 6. And we're done. Okay? Again, we'll do some more of these in class, so don't panic if it doesn't make complete sense. It should make some sense. We're just doing algebra. We're just adding more variables. Okay? Talked about basic formulas. Talked about solving for a variable. Did several examples, substituting, working different problems. Okay? If you have questions or if you need to watch it again, do that. Bring your questions to class, and I'll see you there.